This slide has to do with boxes 4 and 5 on the new good faith. Box 4 is a sum of all the title fees that are being charged to the borrower. In the past, on the old good faith, you had those fees broken out, whether it was a closing fee, attorney fee, title insurance fee. Starting in 2010, all the fees that you enter into the 1100 section, even if they're APR or non-APR fees, are going to be totaled under one total under the Good Faith 2010. This really doesn't affect you in any way except that you still need to enter those fees separately on your old Good Faith so you can get your APR correct. Now, box 5, that's your owner's title insurance. In certain states, in certain counties, every contract is different. A lot of times on purchases, the seller will pay the owner's title insurance. In this new good faith, you have to enter that in this section under box 5. That is the owner's title insurance. If you're doing a refi and the title insurance that you enter into line 1108 on the old good faith, you don't have to enter it into box 5. That is only if there's an additional owner's title policy that is being purchased by someone else. On these boxes is where it's tricky now. If they use a service provider that we select, for instance, if they use Title Core, there is only a 10% tolerance for these fees. But if they use another service provider, like on a purchase where the borrower has no idea who the title company is, then there is unlimited tolerance. Again, though, let's make sure we get the fees as close as possible. Just because you have an unlimited tolerance does not mean that you're not going to get in trouble for having a history of charging or changing fees exorbitantly. On page 2, box 6 are fees that are required to get the loan done by either us or the title company or the seller, but the borrower can shop for them. These usually have to do with things like a pest inspection, a survey, a home inspection. The other fees that will go in here, even though the borrower essentially can't choose, but we don't require them to use them, would be things like estoppel and HOA fees. Any fee that the borrower uses that we don't recommend a servicer for, there is unlimited tolerance. If they happen to use a servicer that we recommend, then you have your 10% tolerance. The only thing that transfers over from the old good faith over to the new good faith is the pest inspection. If you don't have a pest inspection, you don't have to worry about it. But as you can see, you have several boxes where you can enter information in. So if they have a survey or there's home inspections, anything like that, you can enter into these boxes. But most of your data entry for this box on page 2 will actually come on the GFE 2010 form endpoint, not the old GFE form endpoint. On boxes 7 and 8, this has to do with deeds, recordings, tax stamps, anything that the customer is charged by the government in order to get their loan done. On box 7, that has to do with their recording charges. This does transfer over from the old good faith endpoint into the new good faith. So if you enter that data in there correctly, it will transfer over. There is a 10% tolerance on this fee. Make sure that you get it right, get it close for your particular county or area. The next box has to do with the transfer taxes. This is any taxes that your county or city or state charges in order to get your loan done. The other good thing is that box 8 does carry over from the old good faith. It'll total up anything that's in those sections that say taxes in the old good faith. Now the trick to this is in some areas, normally the seller on a purchase will pay some of the transfer taxes. You will have to disclose those on this form, even though the borrower is not paying them. So you want to make sure that you know what those transfer taxes are, even if the borrower is not paying them. And the reason for this is because there is zero tolerance on this box. No more whipping through these good faiths and not putting these fees in there. You must put them in. If there is a transfer tax and you do not put it in, it's going to come out of your origination charge. You're going to make less money because you cannot change this fee. Most counties and cities and states charge a percentage. Please find out what those percentages are and make sure that you disclose them properly, or you're going to end up losing money on these, and we don't want that. That's what we're trying to stop. Boxes 9 and 10 on the Good Faith page 2 cover the reserves deposited with the lender and the interest per diem that the customer is going to pay. All of these figures in boxes 9 and 10 will carry over from the old Good Faith onto the new Good Faith. The only thing you'll have to enter any information for is the settlement date for the per diem interest. For instance, if you say you're going to pay 10 days, obviously the settlement will be 10 days before the end of the month. So just make sure you put the proper date in. The good news on these two is there's unlimited tolerance on these boxes. You don't know when the loan's going to be closing, so they can't hold you to the amount of your per diem interest. Plus, on your reserves, you don't know the amounts of the insurance or the taxes. So again, this gives you a little more freedom, but you should still try to get as close as possible. Box 11 has to do with what the borrower is going to be paying to their insurance companies to pay for their yearly insurance. This does not have to do with reserves or monthly payments per reserves, but on a purchase, they have to usually pay a 12-month premium in order to get the loan. These totals will carry over from the old Good Faith from lines 903 and 904. If there is additional insurance, for instance, earthquake or windstorm, you can put those on those sections in the Good Faith 2010. It gives you a couple of lines to add separate insurances. Just remember, these are not their monthly premiums, but this is the yearly amount that they have to pay. Another good thing, there is unlimited tolerance on these boxes. Changed circumstances is a term that HUD uses to decide whether or not you can change the areas on the Good Faith 2010 where there's zero tolerance. These changed circumstances have something to do with an act of God, war, or disaster. There's changes or inaccuracies in information that the borrower gave you, change in the loan amount or estimated value of the property, and new information regarding the borrower or transaction not relied upon when the initial disclosure was provided. What you have to remember, if there is a changed circumstance, you have to keep track of that for 3 years. So make sure that you document whatever the changed circumstance was and keep it with your files to stay in compliance. So on the new Good Faith page 2, just remember your tolerances. Remember you are going to be giving a credit to the borrower for the yield spread premium, or if you're charging them a discount, you're going to be charging the borrower. Let's stay on top of this. Please re-review the rules if you are confused, and let's make sure we're in compliance starting in January 1st.